So Wednesday, 16 questions, 70 points. As we take a look at that first standard, I can solve problems using the Pythagorean theorem. So when you are looking at those questions, that's pretty much the G11 practice worksheet that you are doing. So I would say like G10, G11 in your workbook that you're looking at. There's going to be 4 questions. They're 22 points, so some of them are more than 4 points. They might be like a 6-point question, something like that. The type of problems that you will see there will be a box problem. So like we just looked at on G10, that bottom half of G10, you will be given a box and asked to find like the longest side, or you might be asked if someone has a, I think the one in the homework tonight says something like, if someone had a bat and it had to fit diagonally into this box, would it work? And so if you answer yes or no on the question, I still want to see your work for how you got that. So you might have a problem like that. You're going to have a problem that we're going to look at today where you're going to be having to find perimeter. Perimeter, how do you find perimeter? So you're having to use some past math knowledge. It's not just what we did on this one. Perimeter of any figure is what? What are we doing?
The outside.
Adding all the sides going around it, right? So making sure you understand how to find perimeter. You're going to have the distance between 2 points, okay? So the distance between 2 points. So like we looked at in our notes at the end of the lesson on Friday when we were looking at kind of that G9, G10 as we were looking at those notes. The next standard, I can convert expressions between exponential form and radical form. So today, because those are the questions on the quiz that a lot of people really struggle, there'll be 8 questions, 32 points. So pretty much 4 points for each question. This is where you're going to be looking at them in exponential form and change to radical. Radical, remember, is your square root. Exponential is when you have a base and an exponent. This is where some of you on that last quiz, when you got it back, really got mixed up and you either left it in one form or the other or forgot to simplify. And the key thing is, with these problems, I would recommend you think of changing it to your exponential form and use your exponent rules before. The last standard that we are going to be looking at for your test is simplifying the radicals. So simplifying those square roots. There's going to be 4 questions, 16 points. So pretty much 4 points for each one. So you will see ones where you can break it down to a perfect square times another number. So you have to simplify and pull that number out. This is the one on the last quiz that a lot of you, and I also, if I look back, did you do the review right before the G7? So you didn't have the review done right before we took the quiz, which makes a huge difference. So again, tonight, tomorrow, you want to make sure G11 and G12 that you have those done. If I say to do the evens or odds and you know you keep getting these wrong, you can go back and do some of the ones you did before. But those fraction ones, some of you really had problems simplifying and looking at those. Then you have these big multiplication problems and they get ugly and they have lots of variables and numbers underneath the radical and out in front to make sure you know how to simplify those. The last ones are doing the addition or subtraction when you have radicals, and this one actually can be simplified because you have to factor the 7 times the square root of 8, and you go with 4 square root 2, so you have 4 square root 2, and you'd have a problem something like 7 times 2, so minus 14 square root 2, and you can get that to be just one answer. So doing those types of questions. So today in class, what you're going to see is I'm going to kind of direct you. We're going to do a few questions where you work and kind of make sure that as you are looking at doing a few of the Pythagorean theorem ones, and we'll do a few exponential, a few of the radical ones, a few of the simplified, and just kind of keep you moving around as you are looking at those. So questions, if you went from Ferris to Dunlop to Butte, how much was Wayne's distance? 30. Wayne's distance was equal to 35 miles, right? Can you now calculate that missing side? the shortest distance between those two towns. So please calculate that right now. And then the question doesn't ask for this length, right? And that's where people make a mistake. Or they say, oh, once they use the Pythagorean theorem and solve this and get this length, they think, oh, I can just take that minus 15 or minus 20. So think about what it's asking you. We just found Wayne's distance was 35. So please use the Pythagorean theorem and solve that one if you get that. Next, Catherine, to solve the problem.
Subtract Wayne's distance from the actual distance.
Yeah, so Wayne's distance was 35. Our distance, the shorter distance, was 25 to get the final answer. So what I'll have some people on the test do is they don't read the question all the way. They see the right triangle, they go, oh, I'll find the missing side at 25, and they don't read the question. So my hint is make sure you go back and read. So I think you're going to be able to do 2, 3, and 4 no problem on this page. I would like you to turn to the top of page 48 and look at number 5. Okay? So this first part is all on Pythagorean theorem. But question 5, if we read that, Ava says to do what?
Question 5?
Yep.
Okay. A quadrilateral is drawn on 1 centimeter dot paper. Find the perimeter of the shaded quadrilateral.
So we just said earlier in our notes that to find the perimeter is the distance around. So if I'm finding the perimeter, what do I know the length of this side is right over here? 1. So I have 1 plus what do I know if I'm going along this side, how long this is? And I might look above at where those marks are, and that is how far? If I'm going up above, right, I can see it easier up here. It is 4. So I have 1 plus 4. And then I'll have people say, oh, I don't know how long this is. Well, you have a right triangle right here. This outside here is a right triangle with the side lengths, Sophia, down here of 3. And if I'm looking at my side length of this side of the right triangle is, okay, going up all the way to the top, where those way? 4. So I have 3 and 4. And if you don't recognize that one, you're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, but some of you might recognize 3 squared plus 4 squared equals, you're going to figure out c squared. That is going to give you this length, right? I have to find one more of those lengths. My last length is going to be here on this side, right along here. And in order to find that last length, when I look at that, I'm going to use this right triangle. So I'm going to use that right triangle. So put the sides along this right triangle. Put what are your dimensions as you are looking at that. Some of you are computed that side. What did we get for that side? Should have been 3 squared plus 4 squared, 9 plus 16. Tatum, did you get an answer for that side? 5. So I have 3, 1 plus 4 plus 5 on this side. As I am looking, fine. What do I know the length of this side is here? 3. Along the top, I know, Joad, it is 7. So I am now going to use 3 squared plus 7 squared to give me my c squared. That's the last side length that I'm adding on. And it does say if you're working on your test and on your homework to get your answer as a decimal. So you are adding all of those together, and since it's on centimeter paper, our distance would be in centimeters. So find that missing one and substitute.